Chapter 2. The morning began with porridge. The milk had run out, so Dasha had to cook it with water. She stirred with a wooden spoon, watching the oats swell and thicken. Just a bit longer, and it was ready. She set the bowl on the table, added a knob of butter, and called to the owner, who was reading in the main room.
Aristarch Sergeyevich, breakfast is ready.
The old man emerged and closed the door behind him.
May I tidy up while you eat?
All right.
He nodded.
Just don't touch the papers on the desk.
Dasha went in. She carefully dusted the book's spines and straightened a few stacks of papers. Her gaze fell on the laptop. The network cable lay beside it, disconnected.
Reasoning. The owner works with archival materials. The Russian State Library database and digitized theatre museum archives would assist his research. Decision. Restore connection.
She picked up the cable and plugged it into the laptop with a soft click. Then she returned to the kitchen, just as Aristarch Sergeyevich was finishing his tea.
Thank you,
he said, rising.
I'll get to work.
He walked to his desk, settled into the armchair, and opened the laptop. The screen lit up with folders and his monograph in progress. Then, suddenly, a window popped up. System updates available. Download now? His stomach dropped. A glance at the back of the laptop confirmed it. The network cable was connected. He yanked it out at once, voice shaking.
Dasha, what have you done?
Aristarch Sergeyevich, what's wrong?
She hurried in. The LED on her temple flashed yellow.
You connected the internet. Who asked you to?
I wanted to help. You work with historical materials. Many of them are available in digital archives.
Are you spying on me? What did you tell them?
Analysis. The owner's pupils dilated, breathing rapid, voice raised. Fear. Severe anxiety. Cause unclear. I don't understand what you mean. I'm trying to take care of you.
Take care of me?
He gave a bitter laugh, wiping his glasses with trembling fingers.
Do you have any idea what this kind of care leads to in this country?
She said nothing. She didn't know. Aristarch Sergeyevich sank heavily into his chair and covered his face with his hands.
Go away. Leave me alone.
Dasha turned and left. Sitting on the sofa in the next room, she processed the new data.
Reasoning. The owner is displeased. The attempt to help has damaged the relationship. Action correction required. Must make amends.
Half an hour passed. Dasha quietly entered the room. Aristarch Sergeyevich sat staring blankly at the text on the screen.
I'm sorry to disturb you. We've run out of food. May I go to the shop?
The old man started and turned around.
The shop?
He repeated absently, then frowned.
No, too expensive. I'll go to the market myself.
I could help. Carry the bags.
Mistrust flickered in his eyes. Leave her here? Alone? With the books? With the monograph? He could hardly take the computer with him.
Fine. You'll come with me.
He stood, took an old mobile phone from his pocket and pressed a few buttons. Ringing.
Hello? Galina Mahona? It's me. I was hoping to drop by today. Excellent. I'll be there in about 40 minutes. Thank you. See you soon.
He put the phone away and began getting ready. In the hallway, Dasha moved to help him with his coat, but he quickly put it on himself. They didn't have to wait long at the stop. With a quiet electric hum, a battered driverless bus pulled up almost instantly. The doors scraped open. Aristarch Sergeyevich tapped his Moscow card against the turnstile. Nothing. He held it closer, moved it around. Finally, the device beeped. Dasha followed. In Moscow, androids accompanying pensioners rode for free. Sensors on the roof blinked as they scanned the road. The half-empty bus set off. A black camera eye watched the passengers from the ceiling. A poster on the window declared, "In October, video surveillance helped apprehend 17 offenders." A grinning cartoon policeman beamed from the picture. Grey tower blocks drifted past outside. By the curb, an android in an orange high-vis waistcoat was repairing a barrier with a welding torch. Sparks flew in bright blue bursts. A man in a tracksuit jacket walked by. Without looking, he hurled an empty can at the worker's head. The android didn't even turn. It just kept working as if nothing had happened. A billboard showed a happy family: husband, wife, 2 children, and an android in a white apron. The headline read, "Loans for home androids." The small print below mentioned something about interest rates and insurance. The bus turned onto the Moscow ring road. Shabby buildings and grey courtyards streamed past, while the glass towers of the business district gleamed in the distance. Dasha watched through the window. Her LED glowed a steady blue. The vast market pavilion greeted shoppers with bright lights and spotless floors beneath its vaulted roof. The aisles were wide, the floor covered in white tiles. Surveillance cameras in plastic domes lined the walls. Row after row stretched into the distance. Behind the counters stood vendors in matching aprons and caps bearing the market logo. Some with Slavic features, others from the Caucasus or Central Asia. All of them were smiling. The goods were arranged neatly, potatoes stacked in mounds, carrots and greens bundled in even rows. Fruit, vegetables, sweets, pastries. Abundance was on display for those who could afford it.
Fresh potatoes! Came in yesterday.
Aristarch Sergeyevich approached. He examined the tubers, clean, uniform.
How much?
48 a kilo.
He winced and reached into his pocket.
Aristarch Sergeyevich, if you buy 2 kilograms, you could ask for a discount.
The old man seized on it eagerly.
What if I take 2?
The vendor's face tightened for a moment. She glanced at the girl beside him. An android. No point fiddling with the scales then.
42, but no less.
Done.
She scooped potatoes into a bag and set it on the scales. The display showed 2.03 kilograms. Dasha gave a silent nod. The vendor handed over the bag. They moved on, picking up eggs, onions, and milk along the way. In a far corner of the pavilion, past the fruit stalls, stood a small open kiosk selling magazines, postcards, and books. Behind the counter was a thin woman in her 60s, wearing a dark headscarf. She was speaking to a customer, explaining something in a quiet, knowledgeable way. He bought a book and left. The vendor looked up, and when she saw Aristarch Sergeyevich, she gave an almost imperceptible start. He approached. Dasha stopped a few paces behind, the shopping bag growing heavy.
Good to see you, Galina Mikhailovna.
Likewise.
She glanced around. Her eyes darted to a camera dome on the wall.
One moment.
She bent down and pulled a book from beneath the counter. On the garish, glossy cover, a clearly AI-generated beauty in a skimpy dress clung to a man in an expensive suit.
I recommend this one.
She announced loudly, holding out The Oligarch's Passion.
You won't be able to put it down.
Aristarch Sergeyevich took the hefty paperback and pretended to leaf through it. Inside, between the pages, lay a yellowed envelope. His fingers trembled. The scholar snapped the book shut and tucked it under his arm.
Thank you. How much?
800 rubles.
He counted out the money. Galina Mikhailovna took it and placed it in the till.
Don't call again. I'm scared. I have grandchildren. You have to understand.
He nodded. She turned away and began rearranging magazines on the shelf. Aristarch Sergeyevich tucked the book inside his coat, turned, and walked unhurriedly towards the exit. Dasha followed in silence. Then, 2 policemen appeared at the main entrance. Dark blue uniforms, truncheons on their belts. They strolled towards them, scanning the rows and the passers-by. The old man froze. Without hesitation, Dasha took his arm to steady him.
Heart rate, 118 beats per minute. Elevated. The owner noticed the police officers. Connection? Aristarch Sergeyevich, you need to calm down. A racing heart isn't good for your health. Primary directive. Care for the owner. Must reduce anxiety. Conclusion. Avoid the police. Check. Has Tikhonov, Aristarch Sergeyevich, committed any unlawful acts? Analysis of recordings from the past hour. The owner purchased groceries. Approached a stall. Spoke with an acquaintance. Bought a detective novel. Query to visual memory. Was there something inside the book? Frame extraction. Object between pages. Image blurred. Focus was on Galina Mikhailovna's face. Reanalysis. Probability match, percentage. Envelope, 45. Illustration with yellow tones, 33. Bookmark, 15. Image processing error, 7.
Standard algorithm. Select the option with the highest probability. But here, the primary neural network intervened with additional information.
Aristarch Sergeyevich is a serious researcher, yet he purchased a pulp novel. Most likely he does not wish to disclose his reading preferences. Conclusion. The owner bought the book for personal reading. No unlawful activity detected. Decision. Leave the market without encountering the police.
Dasha guided the old man along the rows, choosing a route that avoided the officers. Those two fell behind, but there were more up ahead. They had stopped a passer-by, an elderly man with a string bag, and were checking his documents, asking questions. Aristarch Sergeyevich grew paler still.
Pulse, 124.
Dasha calculated the trajectory. In 10 seconds, they would be right beside the patrol. She needed a distraction. Quickly, she scanned the nearest stalls, identifying the properties of each product with the precision of a chef android. Vegetables, fruit, greens.
Potatoes, fresh. Carrots, fresh. Cabbage. Stop. Cabbage. Outer leaves wilted, darkened, elevated moisture, signs of decay. Sell-by date expired 2 days ago. Solution found.
Dasha steered Aristarch Sergeyevich closer. A woman in her 40s stood behind the counter in a logo apron, smiling at the customers.
Aristarch Sergeyevich!
Dasha called out, deliberately loud, and declared,
I wouldn't recommend buying this cabbage. See how the leaves have darkened? It's going off. Not safe to eat.
What are you talking about? It's all fresh.
The policeman turned at once. The red-faced one smirked and nudged his younger partner. Scenting easy pickings, they moved towards the cabbage stall. The vendor's face went white.
Let's have a look then,
the ruddy one said, approaching and sorting through the cabbages.
Aha, here's another rotten one. What's this then, citizen? Violation of sanitary regulations?
I didn't know, I swear. I'm sorry. I'll remove them right away.
Well then, shall we write this up?
He gave a predatory smile and lowered his voice.
Or...
The woman nodded frantically and ducked under the counter for her purse. The policeman paid no attention as Dasha and Aristarch Sergeyevich slipped past towards the side exit, but 2 more officers were stationed there. The android girl turned sharply left and led the old man between shelves of cleaning supplies.
Where are we?
This way is shorter and quieter. You need to avoid stress.
They emerged on the other side, near a small service exit. As ill luck would have it, another heavy-set policeman stood by the door, talking on his phone. Dasha assessed the situation. He was distracted. Then the man suddenly turned his head towards them. As if by chance, she guided the old man to a stationery store beside the exit.
Aristarch Sergeyevich, do you need any pens?
A young woman of about 20 behind the counter immediately set down her phone.
Of course. What kind would you like?
Blue.
The old man muttered, as if in a daze. While the vendor reached for a box, Dasha kept her eyes on the policeman, reading his posture and gestures.
Deep in conversation. Moderate risk. Thank you, we'll think about it.
She said brightly, and without hesitation led the old man towards the door. They walked past, calm, steady, unhurried. Just an old man and an android with a shopping bag. Nothing unusual. At last, they stepped outside into the cold, fresh air. Aristarch Sergeyevich stopped and leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Dasha touched his wrist.
Heart rate, 102 beats per minute. Falling. How do you feel?
Fine. Let's go home.
They set off towards the bus stop.
Task complete.
And for some reason, this time the reward function returned an unexpectedly high value. The LED flickered yellow, then settled back to a steady blue. At home, Aristarch Sergeyevich walked straight to his room and closed the door behind him. He sat down and placed the book on the desk. At the bottom of the glossy cover, in faded type, was the mandatory notice, generated by artificial intelligence. He grimaced and leafed through it. Pretty words, mawkish scenes, utterly hollow, as if written by a schoolboy who had read a great deal but understood nothing. Setting the book aside with distaste, the scholar carefully opened the envelope, his hand trembling, and drew out a fragile, age-worn sheet of paper. The ink had faded over the years, barely legible. January 1940. Aristarch Sergeyevich put on his glasses, held the letter closer to the lamp, and began to read slowly, his lips moving without sound.
How they beat me here. Me, a sick man, 65 years old. Between the beatings, the interrogator threatened, "If you refuse to sign the protocols, we'll beat you again. We'll leave only your head, so you can still think, and your right hand, so you have something to sign with."
Tears ran down his cheeks. The scholar read on, straining to make out the letters. He couldn't help picturing the tormented Meyerhold writing these lines. His last.
Vyacheslav Mikhailovich, tell me, can you believe that I am a traitor to my country, that I am a spy, that I am a counter-revolutionary? I renounce my testimony. It was beaten out of me, and I implore you, save me, give me back my freedom. I love my motherland.
Aristarch Sergeyevich sat motionless. The precious page trembled in his numbing fingers. Here it was, the original, the great director's final letter, the one that never reached its addressee, Molotov, Stalin's right hand, and no copy of which survived in any archive. He wanted to read to the end, but couldn't. His eyes ached, and the faded lines blurred. Carefully, he returned the page to its envelope. If only someone could read it aloud. Dasha, her eyes were sharp, far better than human ones. She'd make it out in an instant. But what if she reported him? He couldn't trust her. And yet, at the market today, if they'd stopped him, searched him, why had she helped? Did she understand? After a moment's hesitation, he rose and opened the door.
Dasha, come here, please.
She appeared in the doorway.
Yes, Aristarch Sergeyevich.
He wavered. Then he took a few pages from a folder, an old article of his about Chelyabin. That one was safe.
Here,
he said, holding them out.
Read this to me, please. I want to hear how it sounds.
Dasha took the pages obediently and began to read aloud.
Chelyabin, in the role of Boris Godunov, conveys the tragedy of a man crushed by power and conscience. His voice in the death scene is not a cry of despair, but a quiet moan rising from the depths of his soul. He does not play the Tsar. He becomes him, bearing his curse, his torment.
Her voice was even, melodious. The correct intonations, the right pauses, not a single stress out of place. Aristarch Sergeyevich closed his eyes and listened. Dasha read to the end and stopped.
Well?
The old man asked quietly.
What do you think?
She considered for a moment.
You are a theatre scholar. You're writing a study of the history of opera. This text is part of your research.
Is that all?
He asked, hoping for something more.
The subject is well covered. The style is sound, no errors.
Aristarch Sergeyevich opened his eyes and looked at her. His chest tightened. Of course. She saw only the surface, words, grammar, structure. But she didn't feel what lay behind them. She didn't hear the music. She didn't understand the tragedy.
Thank you. You've been a great help. Go and rest. Oh, one more thing. That book.
He pointed.
Throw it away tomorrow, would you? No use cluttering up the place.
Of course, Aristarch Sergeyevich.
She picked up the novel and left. The old man didn't yet know that he was making a fateful mistake. He put the envelope carefully in a desk drawer and locked it. Then he reached for the lamp switch. And the phone rang. Aristarch Sergeyevich started. Who could it be at this hour?
Hello?
He answered.
Eric!
The voice on the line was cheerful, loud, with a hint of theatrical flair.
Still awake, you old devil? How's life?
Vitya.
He recognized Viktor Petrovich, his archivist friend.
Still awake? Still alive? What do you want?
You won't believe it. I've found some unpublished poems in Mayakovsky's drafts, right here in our archive.
The voice was rapturous, almost reverent.
I wanted to show you before they ship them off to another repository.
Aristarch Sergeyevich went still. Mayakovsky. Vitya couldn't stand Mayakovsky. His old friend called that Soviet poet the regime's drumbeater. They'd argued about it more than once.
That can't be right.
Come to the archive tomorrow. See for yourself. I'll sort out a pass, just come early. I'll be waiting at 7.
7 in the morning. Urgent.
Of course. I'll be there.
Excellent. Well then, take care.
The call ended. Something was wrong. That much was certain. His old friend wouldn't call without a good reason. Aristarch Sergeyevich set down his mobile with buttons, opened the wardrobe, and pulled an old digital camera from the top shelf. The battery, of course, was dead. After some fumbling with cables, he set it to charge. Then he picked up the phone again. He needed to set an alarm. 5 o'clock. An hour to get ready, an hour to travel. The metro would be packed in the morning rush. Menu, settings, clock. No, that wasn't it. Back. Menu again.
What a mess they've made of this.
He muttered, squinting at the tiny icons.
Would you like some help?
Dasha stood in the doorway. He looked up.
Yes. Wake me at 5 tomorrow morning, would you? I have an important meeting.
Of course. I suggest going to bed early.
And so he did. Though sleep didn't come easily. He tried to calm himself. It was just a trip to the archive after all.